So the last plushie I made was extremely complex and time-consuming, so I wanted to do something simple just for the fun of it. It turned out less simple than I thought, for a very silly reason. I wanted to make something floppy and colorful, and the idea for a Toony Weasel popped into my head, so I gave it a go. After a couple of quick prototypes, I made the blue and pink one that I showed in my last video. And here's a better look at that. Okay, so here's the first Weasel that I made a little bit ago. One thing I was going to change on this is this face was two pieces, and that was because it wasn't a straight line. It was a little bit curved, but it turns out it was really hard to sew, and I almost broke the needle trying to sew these pieces together. So I decided to change it and make the face one piece, the embroidery part, I mean. Because it really doesn't make that much of a difference if I make it a straight line versus a slight curve like this one. And so this is the new face piece. And also I changed a little bit of details, like I made the head a little bit bigger and a few other things, but otherwise it should mostly look like this one, just more refined, and we'll see how the embroidery turns out on the final. First, I sewed the head pieces together. Gonna sew some paws together. After the paws, I began sewing pieces of the body. Okay, so the main body pieces and the feet. Now, I'm gonna sew on the paw pads. Here's the back one. Jonah. Okay, so here's the body sewn. She keeps making weird sounds. Here's the body sewn with the paws. Now I'm gonna sew the head pieces. Here's the ears, and here's what they look like. So yeah, I'll do that. Okay, here's the head attached and the main body. Time to turn inside out. Okay, so here's the body turned inside out. Paws. And hopefully this one fixes the errors that I had at the first one. Now, time to sew the tail. Next there's this piece, which is going to go inside the plushie and the neck and basically separate the stuffing in the head from the stuffing in the body, because the head's going to be more firmly stuffed while the body's going to be floppy, and I don't want the stuffing from the head to leak in there. So I'm going to put this inside and sew this edge into the inner seam allowances of this. Okay, here's the head stuffed. It still needs to be thread sculpted, but I'll get to that. There's also the tail turned inside out. I still need to stuff this, and it's actually pretty close to being done. And it turned out there were still some complications with the pattern. Okay, I did some thread sculpting, but there's still some problems, and I think it has to do with how I edited the pattern to be one piece. I'm gonna have to fix that. I thought this would be the final, but it's looking like it's not. But in the meantime, I did stuff the paws. Now I'm going to make a pouch for some beans. And the original one, this one, just had the whole pouch sewn with beans inside. I'm gonna try for this new one to sew it in sections so that there's never like too many beans on one side. I'll see if that works better. I mean, I might as well experiment since I know I'm gonna have to change things. Okay, here's the bean pouch. Okay, so this test is done, and I need to change some things. Made the head too much bigger. I need something in between what I had, in between these two. So I gotta start again. I thought this would be more simple. So I went and edited the pattern yet again, hoping the third time was the charm. Okay, so I'm gonna make another weasel. I edited the pattern yet again. Hopefully this one will work. And I'm not gonna show the whole process of making it because I did that with the last one, so I'm just gonna skip ahead and then we'll compare all the ones I've made so far. Okay, I have the body sewn and I stuffed the head, and so far the size on this one looks good. I also changed the way I'm gonna do the bean pouch. I'm gonna have it be 3 pieces. These are the 2 top pieces, and underneath it's gonna be this that has a wider pouch for beans to make it really floppy. So we'll see if that works. Still needs to be thread sculpted. Okay, here's the head thread sculpted, and so far it looks good. Gonna stuff the body now. Then I was finished. Okay, here it is done, and I'll get some better pictures outside. But yeah, I think it's finally done. And here's some video of the 3 of them together. So despite the setbacks, I'm happy with the pattern now, and I want to start making weasels in all sorts of weird colors. I gave the first two to my friend who discovered they are very good travel plushies and also fun to throw at people. If you want to see me make more plushies, follow this channel.